I support the amendment to the elections, the County Government Elections Laws Amendment Bill of 2024 by Senator Asigi. Mr. Speaker, being included in any society should be our main principle in this House, should be what we advocate for. I just got back from Wajir County, and Wajir County is one of the most progressive counties in this country. It's got billionaires. The residents of Wajir County own their own aircrafts that flies daily. There are 2 flights daily to Wajir County. But because of being excluded from the national grid, that county is not able to achieve the same potentials of a county like Nairobi. Marsabit County suffers the same consequences. Mandera County suffers the same consequences. So today when I'm seated here and I'm trying to absorb the submissions by my sister, Senator Asigi, I'm beginning to really appreciate the fact that it is only her who can be able to give us real insights on what people with disability can be able to help this country, on the experiences, the challenges that they go through when it comes to issues of policy making. Yes, the Constitution is there. And in fact, if you read the object, a memorandum of her bill, it talks clearly that the purpose of this bill is to be able to achieve the requirements under Article 54(2) of the Constitution, that at least 5% of the members of the County Assembly are persons with disabilities. This is a progressive implementation tool that now Senator Asigi wants us to be cognizant of its benefits and what it can do for future generations. It is imperative that we become realistic. I was seated here and Senator Eddie came and said to me something which I've been agonizing on, and said this is an interesting bill. Because what if, hypothetically, one day everyone who is elected in office from a particular county, as the assembly, is disabled? Then what does the law say in regards to other people who are able? And that, when I read the Constitution, I started laughing and smiling to the drafters of the Constitution because they had seen what Senator Eddie have seen. So this is a matter of being progressive. Slowly by slowly, for us to be able to achieve for future generations. Iebc have attempted to do this, but they have not been able to do that because of lobbying. Every single day someone goes and lobby, and before you realize, someone who has been brought here cannot even be able to advocate for any person who is disabled. So I think it is imperative, as we are contributing to this bill, we see how far we can be able to go in defining what disability is all about. My brother, Senator Okiya Omtata, was arguing that he's also disabled because, for one reason or another, he's not able to chew bones. Maybe he's right. What I saw lacking in this bill, and I kept on asking myself, is that since this bill is essentially for advocating for inclusion of people with disability in elected positions, what about people who are dyslexic? Are those people who are dyslexic also considered as disabled? Do we only consider people who are physically? Or do we consider people who cannot hear? Or do we have to extend this issue of disability to be able to define? And how pragmatic can we be to ensure that we actually achieve what the Constitution has set out? So, Mr. Speaker, as I support this bill, I want to challenge my sister to be able to further define disability when it comes to this country. Because if you go to most counties, buildings are erected. Maybe we might have an expert in Nairobi who can be able to come and say, before you build this building or before you give out permits or approvals for building, make sure that building can be accessed by someone who is physically challenged. I actually don't like using the words disabled. I like using the word challenge, because I've seen people who are considered by the society as being disabled, and they are much capable of doing more things that most of us are not able to do. They can reason out. Some of us who are 100% cannot even reason. So, Mr. Speaker, as I support this bill, I'd like to be a bit realistic as well. We're in a society which we talk too much, but we do nothing. How realistic are we going to be to ensure that at least we can achieve the 5% of all the elected members of a county assembly being members who are physically or people who are disabled? I've looked at Section 8, the proposed amendment of this, where it says, for the purpose of subsection 1F3, the Commission shall draw from the list such members of special seats members in the order given by the party. In the order given by the party. That's the one word that I'd like to highlight. Necessary to ensure that at least 5% of the members of the county assembly are persons with disability. I'd like to persuade my sister to change that so that we make it mandatory. Because the mischief that you are tending to cure cannot be cured with such language. Because people there will still choose whoever they want to choose. So I think it is imperative that you expand that provision further to be able to be descriptive in nature, to say this and this person ought to be the one given priority. I'm sure my brother, Senator Sifuna, who is the SG of the ODM party, can be able to attest to what I'm saying and can speak directly on these issues, because those are the challenges we face. Today, when we don't have an Iebc, there are people who are appointed and then reappointed. They're no longer in parliament. So Iebc will just go back to the list. What will happen if at all maybe in the National Assembly there's a person who is supposed to replace Mbadi? Can this bill help Iebc be able to choose the right person, or will it be an issue of lobbying? Senator Ledama will be lobbying for his brother or sister to be appointed. So I think we need to be descriptive in nature. So my sister, I would like to suggest that you'd relook at Section 8 so that we avoid that mischief. Finally, I want to reiterate on the importance of you redefining the categories of disability. I think you need to be elaborate so that we don't only look at people with physical, hearing, and visual impairments. I want us to look at other people who are also challenged, who are dyslexic. You know, there are people who are extremely intelligent. All of us, one way or the other, have some form of dyslexia in us. What measure do we use so that we also include those people? Because they're the only ones who can be able to explain the challenges they go through. And I'll try to demonstrate. There are people, when they read, Mr. Speaker, and they're reading, you'll find them reading on a zigzag line. That is a form of dyslexia. I'm sure Majority Whip, I don't know how much he knows about dyslexia because of being a medical doctor, but I can attest that for my own family, I've got people who are challenged there. And they read. They could say two nominated, and then they go straight to marginalized, they don't read. Like if you have this bill and you go to section 3 of the bill, they would say section 3.1, they will read the members of a county assembly contemplated under Article 177C, and then they will go to C, because their mind has told them, rush to C. So we need to be able to be descriptive in nature so that those people are also not left out and they're included. Mr. Speaker, as I summarize, I think this is one of those bills which we can be able to fast track, especially now that we are fighting to get a new Iebc, so that when that new Iebc comes in place, it can also be able to have the thoughts of Senator Sige in mind to be able to replace or anybody or preparing for the next election. So finally, let me again appreciate the work of Senator Sige, and I hope that she can continue really enlightening us on the uniqueness of the challenges that people with disabilities go through. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni Khalwale.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this chance, and Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate the nominated Senator, Christopher Sige, for this piece of work. Senator Sige, I want to acknowledge her for her hard work, and I want to acknowledge her even more for her demonstration for the indomitable spirit of a human being. Madam Speaker,